Now we are going to get into the next level of completion. We've done, so far we've looked at completion starting from a basic level with myself, right? Looking at the self begins with what? What I call as myself begins with? Begins with mamakara, isn't it? What I experience and feel as myself, then moves into ahankara, what I extend, express, project myself as myself to the others, and then what's the other thing we worked on? What I experience others to be as me, isn't it? Swa anyakara. And then what others experience me as them is the next one. There's one more, anyakara. All these four together is you. Can I say that? Correct? All these four, which is what you think that you are for yourself, what you project yourself to be for the other, what the other is for you, and what the other, you experience the other as, and what the other experiences you as. Correct? All these four, when you bring in a space of completion, they become one like this. It becomes one fist, one coordinated unit. But in the absence of completion, in the state called incompletion, it is all fragmented, divided, out there, scattered. So we began looking at the process of integrating one by one into one coordinated unit so that you can begin functioning as one unit. You can begin functioning as one space. And that is a very powerful space to be in, by the way. Because when there is that united coordination inside you, then whatever you begin experience, whatever you want as your reality, as what you want to create right now in your future, all of that begins to happen for you like this. You know, you'll have the ability to create what you want. When you think, it manifests as reality. Like that kind of a creation is possible when you get into the holistic space of completion. So we've been doing, starting level by level by level. Now we'll move to the real deeper level of completion. And what is that? Completion for you in terms of completing with life itself. A lot of us had questions the other day when Swamiji spoke in the satsang about completing with the tree, completing with phone. How many of you had questions? Raise your hand. Many were asking, no, how do I do that? How do I experience completion with laptop or completion with, the fan? Like, many of us had this question. That begins with this process. When you first begin completing with all the units of you, if you see in the four statements, what I believe as me, my inner image, right? What I project as me, outside me, what I believe as others according to me, and what others believe that I am for them. All of them have one thing common. What is that? You. Correct? All of them have you as the center. So when you start completing with each one by one, what begins happening is you acquire something called a holistic completion. You are totally a complete integrated unit in yourself. Sorry. You become a complete integrated unit to yourself, and that actually makes you become a natural self-expression of completion starts happening. Naturally, you start being completion, and that's when that space what Swamiji was talking about in the morning satsang happens, where you experience completion with a mic, with the stage, with the fan, with a tree, with a cup of water you're drinking, and with everything around you. And that is the space and state in which we were born, by the way. When you and me were born, when we took this life, we were born in that space. The space which is referred to as Purnatva. Purnatva is that beautiful space. In our scriptures, we have this prayer which we use, and by the way, in all our meetings, everywhere, we use this most often. The very significant, very profound verse which speaks about Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Meaning everything is nothing but completion. Means it's whole and perfect and complete. So when you and me were born, we were just born. Symbolically, I'm just putting it as a circle. And coming from there, obviously, it was India which came up with the concept of zero. Do you know that? The zero in math was contributed by Indian master. So that's obviously taken from the era's old wisdom that's hidden in our Vedas, Puranas, and scriptures. So the zero is actually representing that only, that something you multiply by zero, what do you get? Zero, isn't it? Anything you can give to zero, multiply to zero becomes a zero. So Purnatva is that space, a space where you're so full with itself, unto itself, that it can only be overflowing itself as an extension. Anything you add to it will not make a difference to it. Anything you remove from will not make a difference to it. Are you getting it? So when I am in the space of completion, I can have someone hitting rocks at me. Something will happen to me? No. My state of completion will still remain complete, and I will have the ability to respond. It's not that I will meekly withdraw and all that. I will still go out and put a fight there or do a war. I'm not speaking about the actions, but the space will be still complete. And when I'm in completion, even if somebody throws a flower at me, I'm still complete. If somebody takes away something from me, I'm still complete. Because that is the state where nothing can be added to you anymore, nor anything can be removed, deleted from you anymore. Because that is the space called completion. Anything added becomes complete. Anything removed becomes complete by itself. That is what that verse actually means. That you cannot add, you cannot subtract. Anything you do to completion will result in only completion. So holistic, perfect, whole energy that you and me were. You and me were born like this whole being, this complete being. And probably for some days we remained in this. Some days or some months, some years, for each one it's different. But then what happened after a certain period of time? What started happening in us? What did we begin acquiring? Language, isn't it? We started acquiring language right from the time actually you begin to smile. Your first signs of recognizing life around you is a form of communication. Isn't it so? When the small 8-month, 6-month, 7-month little baby, when it looks at the mother, lifts itself up and starts bouncing in the cradle and with a smile, what is happening? It is communicating. And the moment that communication has begun, slowly there is a space developing within which kind of believes that there is a me and there is a rest of the world which is not me. Till that state, let's say when we are very small, months baby, days baby, you don't have any demarcation, any discrimination with me and rest of me. There's just one, life is one, which is you, me, alone. Are we getting this? But slowly as language develops, what starts happening is there is a me and there is the rest of it called not me. All of that is something which is not me. And I kind of acquire more and more language to do what? To do what? To describe what's around me, to tell whether I like it or not, and to understand it, I start defining it. Isn't it so? And I start making meanings of whatever is happening in life. Right? So for example, if let's say a small one-year-old baby is given one slap on the face, what will happen? By the mother. What will happen to the baby? It will cry, no? Because that's stimulus reflex, that response system which is there naturally for us through the body will happen. It may cry, it may be shocked, something like that. But if a 8-year-old child is slapped by the mother, what will happen? What will happen? It may cry and it will start suffering, isn't it? Mummy is bad, she doesn't like me, I am unfortunate, I am unlucky, I am not loved, and 100 other things. What's the difference? It's the same action. But do you see the space is so different for the child the moment language creeps in? What is happening is along with the pain comes the suffering. And till your deathbed you won't forget the echo of that slap. If you got slapped at 8. If you got slapped at 1, it's only the pain. And the child will, by the way, run back to the same mother, a 1-year-old child. But a 8-year-old child is forever disconnected from the mother after that incident. Will never be able to be with the mother, though physically it is around the mother. Isn't it so? And what is the whole process which leads us there is the process of the incompletion that begins to happen inside us. One inadequate cognition that happens to us at some moment in our life, at some incomplete moment in our life. Like somewhere I'm going, everything has been smooth, and suddenly all of us have seen in our life somewhere or the other that has happened for you, isn't it? Whatever age it happened. Somewhere something happened. Somewhere father said something, or mother said something, or you saw something outside the window and you said, oh, something is wrong with me. At that point, what happened, by the way? A dent got formed in that whole perfect, complete you that you were. Are we getting this? The point when there is a disconnect, there is an inadequate cognition which is incomplete, which is not enough for us to experience I am whole, perfect and complete. Somewhere when I get, oh God, something is wrong, something less, something I'm not enough of. First time it happened somewhere for all of us, isn't it? Wherever it happened, whichever stage. When that happened, what happened is, it's literally like in this whole perfect circle that you were, this small dent got formed. Now when this dent got formed, what happened to us immediately? This is giving you what, by the way? A survival threat. It's as good as I'm dying. As if somebody has snapped away my breath, the breath cord. So you are gasping. You're gasping for what? To come back to life. And because you feel there's something missing here, you somewhere supply something from outside, which is your ahankara, by the way. You just say, oh, I am not good enough, so let me now go and become friendly. And you go out. Almost immediately you will run out to the outside world and do something which will kind of give you a pseudo feeling that this is getting bridged. You think it got bridged. At that moment you feel so nice, isn't it? Every time you go into a low mood, what happens? Many of us have a lot of habits. Drinking coffee, going for a movie, just talking to someone, calling up someone and talking. What else? Sleeping. Some people just go to bed. And fasting. Some people don't eat, by the way. It's very strange. Something which I can never relate to. I will do all the strike, but after eating nicely. Whatever be the fight, I'll have the best food on the planet and then I will fight. Why should I starve for you? That's my philosophy. You should starve. You should go into whatever. I will not go. But many things like this, they go into starving, they go into anger, withdrawal, many things, isn't it? How many of you can relate to that? You drink additional coffee that day, or many people smoke, of course. Of course, go to pubs and bars and drink. No doubt, that's one more reason to drink. Just to drink, some people get into fights, by the way. So, like this, Now, all of that is actually going out just to realize that, oh, I am now back to my, back to my balance. But tell me, is this the reality? Are we really back to the balance? No. Because if we really were, then we will never get there again. No. It will not repeat. But how quickly does it repeat? Like this it will come back. Just maybe some few hours or days it will be there, back, again back, again back, again back. Till there is a time where you are just collapsing in that. You can no more handle it. After God knows what time, and that's when you'll think, oh, whatever I did, probably this is not it. Let me see what to do. And by that time, your kidneys would have packed, your lungs would have packed, your liver is gone, your more than half, you have all, defects everywhere, and then you come. You come to something, and that you will think 10,000 times to come to a program like this. It's not for me, it's not for me, it's not for me. Only on deathbed I know it's for me, but what can you do by then? Nothing. Hardly anything, isn't it? So like this, it's not one. Many situations of your life. Mother said something, then brother said something, then friend said something, or something happened, I lost my job, I failed in school, I lost in the running race, and it goes on and on and on and on. Now tell me what has happened, by the way, if you see this. The whole has holes. Do you see that? It lost its W somewhere in the whole run. The hole that you wear, WHOLE, has holes now, HOLE. So what will the holes do, by the way? They will leak all over the place, and you will be wondering why is the house leaking so much? Which is the house? Yourself. You just can't sit with yourself. The best people on the planet are people who just cannot sit with themselves. Most successful people, many of them. And why? Because we fail to realize that there is all the time we are running out. Every time this happens, with double speed I'll run out. Double, triple speed, more I will run out. Oh, this is not it. Now I know I need to get a bigger house, I need to get a better car, I need to get a better job or a business. Oh, this woman is like this. Let me go to the next. She'll be the best. And I'll leave her and I'll go to the next and I'll go to the next. By the time I go to the 10th wife, I realize the first one was the best. But how much has gone through between first and the 10th? No, seriously, we are always on the mode of new. Dispose of something, get into new. Till when? You think that something new from outside, either a better house, better job, whatever. I'm not saying all that is bad, by the way. But that coming from a hole within is the most unfortunate thing that can happen to you. Are we getting this? Are you guys getting this? So what is happening mostly for most of us in our life is this. That in order to compensate for something which is happening within, a hole, an incompletion within, we are running so much outside of us, trying to compensate with something from outside, thinking that this hole will it'll become all right. And I'll regain my normalcy, I'll be just myself again. But we don't understand bit by bit in this whole thing, we are losing what we call as the self. There is no self left there anymore. There are just holes. The hole is lost long ago. Are we getting this? And what do we do in this whole process? It is like taking a stomachache tablet when you have headache. The source is inside you and you continuously go outside to people, you curse them, you beat them, you scold them, you fight with them. You do everything. You wage battles outside. And the enemy is sitting inside, finishing you off bit by bit. And in the whole process, except looking at the real enemy, you're doing everything else. You're doing all the stunts of your life. And you're getting more and more hurt. Why? Because when you go fight outside, as it is outside what you'll get the injury. And there is someone sitting inside, constantly the holes inside they are giving you the injury within. So do you see, you're like a double wounded soldier. One who's wounded from outside and the one who's wounded from inside. But continuously in life, we always go out there, thinking that the solution to my problems in my life lies somewhere. If he changes, I'll be a better off position. If at all the stupid wife doesn't live in my life anymore, how happy will I be? Oh, where will I be? What will I do? If not for that mother and father idiots who didn't give me proper education, who just gave me 10th class education, I could have just been a Bill Clinton today. Just because of them. Isn't it? Mostly, this is what we think. Yes or no? Authentically, on the ground, if you stand, how many of you can relate to what I'm saying? In some form or the other, you're thinking like this. If not exactly the same way, some way or the other. Almost all hands should go up for this. Whether we know it or not, very subtly, we are playing this game. This game of always going back and looking at the source as something outside of me. The source of my incompletion or the source of my not being satisfied in my life. The dissatisfaction that exists in us in various forms in life, always for us stems, sources, has roots somewhere outside. And I tell you, that is one of the fundamental biggest illusions of human existence. If you can crack this one thing, I tell you, you have cracked everything in life. You've just cracked the mysticism that's there around who you are, and all those questions will be answered. Are you guys getting this? And what do we do? As I said, more and more you go outside, more and more you want to fix people, you want to fix situations, you want to fix the situation by replacing with a better car, a better house, or everything better. Everything you're doing is outside. You think the injury, the root of the injury, the cause of the whole wound is outside of you. Always, most of us think like that, isn't it? It's like I'm standing in front of the mirror and I have a bruise here. I have an injury on my cheek. Now I'm standing in front of the mirror, looking into the mirror, and the mirror will show injury, isn't it? And I'm like, the mirror is wounded. Oh my God, I take the band-aid and put it on the mirror. And I'm wondering, I put the band-aid on the mirror and how come I'm having some pain somewhere? It's okay. And I come back and stand in the mirror in a different angle. Again I see, arey, still the wound is there on the mirror. Arey, come on. And I put another band-aid on the mirror. All my life I'm applying band-aid, and by the end of it, the mirror is completely no more visible because it has complete band-aid on it all over the place. And I am already ready to go. I'm waiting for something to happen. What is that? What am I waiting for by that time? By the time I realize. By the time, what do I realize? There's a very beautiful saying in Hindi which I always love to quote, especially in this session, which says, "Gata hum aina saaf karte rahe." Meaning, all my life I've done only this one mistake. All my life I've done only this one mistake. The dust was on my face, I kept wiping the mirror. All my life I've done only this one mistake. I kept wiping the mirror, whereas the dust was lying on my face.